I'm happy now to introduce you to the third candidate running for House District 90, and this is Wendy Pieh from Bremen. Hi, Wendy.
Hi. Thank you so much for doing this. We can't go out and mix with people now, and it's an opportunity for us to be able to share our thoughts and ideas.
It's really wonderful that LCTV is giving us this opportunity. And one of the things that we discussed was if we're going to do a series of these programs, perhaps viewers could send in questions to me, and I can ask them at future programs and get answers for people who can't meet you face-to-face, person-to-person, but at least hear your response. So at the end of the program, we'll put the information on that will tell people how to get in touch with us. So let's start by finding out a little bit about why you've decided to put your hat in the race this time, Wendy.
Sure. Well, I came to Maine about 30 years ago, and I came to Bremen right away and got involved fairly quickly in being on our school board. And I was interested in education and bringing an experiential component into it. I'd worked in Outward Bound for, 15 years or so, and wanted to propose a school in my town that would be a public-private combination on the board of the school and would do academic work, classroom work in the morning, and then go in the afternoon and work outside, work with fishermen, work on farms, go and gather interesting things in the woods and figure out what they were and how they related. And the town loved it. The state didn't.
Oh.
That was a little bit too far out for them, I guess. And so I kind of tabled that, but remained very interested. And then I got a call one day asking me if I'd consider running for the House. And I was like, ooh. You know, I wasn't really excited about what politics were like in the United States. But thinking about it, getting encouragement, I decided to run. And with 23% Democrat, I was a woman, I was from away, you could never pronounce my name. I still prevailed by working really hard and being really committed to working together. And when I got into the state legislature, I was kind of like a duck. I took to it like a duck to water, but I looked really calm, but underneath the water, I'm like paddling like mad to try and get myself, you know, it's a very steep learning curve. Mm-hmm. And I found that I excelled, and my commitment to community, to working together, to have collaborative, to appreciate different perspectives, led itself to being very effective. So I ran for 2 terms, then our finances required me to stop, and then I ran again for another 2 terms and had the same problem. I don't pay legislators anything. Mm-hmm. And so I dropped out, and then our finances got better, and I wanted to go again. Mick Devon was in the legislature and doing a great job. So I waited till now to throw my hat in the ring.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you mentioned several issues. Mm-hmm. Can you talk about 1 or 2 that really are important to you that you would be working on in the State House?
Sure. I think in the State House I got known very well for working collaboratively, for bringing people together, building the community, and appreciating that listening and hearing different perspectives were really good. The biggest issue that I think we face is climate change. And I don't think we're going to take together, my mother used to say, she died in 1911 at 93, she used to say, if we just get rid of the humans, I think the earth would recover. And I think that that's not an option, or we hope it's not. But that's something we really need to work on. And the other thing is helping struggling Mainers. We don't have a middle class anymore. It's either the haves or the have-nots. There are very few people that fit into the middle class, and that's where things get done. It's in the middle class. It's helping people. And so my other issue is helping struggling Mainers to succeed.
Mm-hmm. You talked a little bit about your background. Do you want to tell us a little more about the skills and experiences that you bring?
Sure. When I was 10, we left a subsistence farm in Ohio. My dad got a job teaching just outside of Birmingham, Alabama, that paid more money. So I go down there, and I was a really happy kid. I was busy being a little farmer and playing with my friends. I got down there and walked into a school that was segregated. And I was so stunned, shocked, horrified, and the cruelty that was going on with a governor that stands in the door of the school and says, never in my life will these schools be integrated? I didn't know what to do. I became kind of introverted, felt a little lost, not because I didn't have a wonderful family and a lot of support, but I was lost. And I was in class the day that President Kennedy was assassinated, and somebody in my classroom said, "Oh, my dad will be happy about that." And it really shocked me. And I always remembered from President Kennedy that he said, "Don't think about what your country can do for you, but what you can do and give to your country." And that's a driving thing. And my father had an opportunity to found an Outward Bound school in Minnesota. And we got out of the South, and my life opened up again tremendously, and I was so excited. And I studied Shakespeare, of course, we all did in high school. And in Hamlet, you know, he says, what does he say? He says, "To thine own self be true, and it shall follow as the night the day. Thou canst not then be false to any man." And I took that to heart. So then I had those two truisms, one from Kennedy, one from Shakespeare, that I've really followed through my life. And I think I found in my background of running Outward Bound programs in Minnesota, Canada, and then being the executive director of a school in Southern Africa that was fighting apartheid, I found that the sense of community, the desire to work together, the desire to collaborate, and the desire to have differences was terribly important. And it's everywhere. And that's what I live to do, is to bring those things together. And the last thing I'll say is something my father developed and was quite well known in experiential education as a saying, and he said, "Be tough yet gentle, humble yet bold, swayed always by beauty and truth." And so that's what I do.
I want to ask a topical question, Wendy. Obviously, you're sitting way over there. I'm sitting over here. We're trying to maintain our social distancing. Can you tell us what you think should be done in the state legislature regarding Maine and the coronavirus, and perhaps maybe what you would do if you were there?
I think, thank you. Yesterday I talked with the Speaker's office about two items, and one was the fact that a lot of towns are having their town meetings this month, and they have to because they only have approval to go 3 months' expenses. And could they put something in the omnibus bill today that allowed towns to go ahead and wait to have their meeting and do 6 months or do whatever amount of time they needed? And I haven't heard back, but I know that the governor and the speaker were talking about that yesterday. So I think that can really help towns. I'm married to Dr. Peter Goth, and he's an emergency physician doctor, and he would tell you and me the distance is really good. Wash your hands, 20 seconds, all the things they're saying on TV, but he said if you go into the store, and I see people doing this, wear a long enough sleeve that you can push your shopping cart and put something over your hand so you're going on it. And use the hand sanitizer. We're talking about knocking on doors, and I'm like, how am I going to do it? You know, do I put on a different pair of gloves every time, every house?
Yes.
Well, that gets really expensive, but if I use hand sanitizer after every door, my hands will disappear.
Right.
You know, be so chapped because it's almost all alcohol. So it was somewhat of a really appreciated relief when we were told to just stop doing that because you don't know what you're carrying from door to door.
That's right.
And so that was really important for us and really helpful. I think if we can all be patient, we can help each other. Like if someone is in a home and you know that it's hard for them to go out, go to pick up food for them and bring it to them. There's a store in Portland, they make donuts. Everybody gets, when they buy a dozen donuts, they're getting a roll of toilet paper. Because it's hoarded. It's completely hoarded. My daughter called, she lives down in Portland. She went to the grocery store. Everything was gone. So I went down to Rising Tide and got her some frozen vegetables and all the kinds of things she could need so that she'd have enough to eat if she gets quarantined. And she works in a hospital, so, you know.
Great.
So
okay.
I hope that's helpful.
Yes, I think that will be helpful.
Okay. Thank you.